Hello guys, and I just made a combo box video tutorial and I felt like making another one, and I'm going to be doing an advanced C# tutorial. This is the first advanced series. I decided that combo box wasn't really that advanced and it wasn't like the part of it. So today I'm going to be teaching you networks, and believe me, I searched on the YouTube and there is no networks tutorial or anything related to networks about Unity 3D. Even if there is, it's not that good out there. So we're going to create a new C# script. We're going to call this connection script. Make sure you don't call it something like connection or something, just because there are some things in Unity that are called connections, or the classes in Unity. And classes, if you don't know, you shouldn't be watching this tutorial. You should go back to my first tutorial and then watch them. Anyways, classes is basically scripts, as I've explained before, and I like C#, so we're going to be using C# to do this. JavaScript is easy conversion, so if you don't know, if you want to do JavaScript, there you can find a converter. Someone, I think, made a JavaScript uh, JavaScript converter and a C# converter for Unity 3D in Unity 3D, which is awesome. So anyways, let's get started. First of all, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be displaying stuff on the screen, so we're going to need on GUI function to get the 2D GUI stuff. So if GUI Layout dot button and create server. So if we click create server, nothing is going to happen for now, but before we do this, we need to create some strings, private string and server name equals to nothing, basically. And what else can we do, or what else we can need? And we can make players max players equals to, make it 0, and I'll tell you why I made it into a string later on. What else? And port equals to that. Anyways, now what we can do is we can create text box so the user can actually edit these stuff. So first we need to create a label to tell it which one's which. So GUI layout.label, and let's call it server name, comma name. There we go. And then we need to create that thing I told you, server name equals to GUI layout dot text field. Text area is basically like a big box where you would write your entire email or something, and text field is basically where you would write your name or something. By email, I don't mean actually like you're just an email address. I mean like a really big paragraph or something. So text field, because we're just going to be writing a little line, server name. So that will make the user that will make a little text box where the user can edit that, and I'm just going to copy this and paste it 2 more times for those port and max players. Make the port some random thing, 25566, and in our game, the one I'm creating, it's 25566 as well, so make sure you do something else. Try and think of some port. There are plenty of ports available, so port and max players and max players. And the reason why I made it into a string uh, instead of a number for the port and the max players is because we're going to be editing them, and we can't use text fields and numbers, so it doesn't work that good. So what we can do though is convert them into numbers, and we should call or include or use a system, because we're going to use try and catch. And if you don't know what try and catch is, I'll just write it out and then I'll explain it. So try and catch and exception. Now try and catch, there's actually finally that goes after it, but we'll get to that later. So finally, in fact, we'll get to it right now. Anyways, try is basically a code that it runs. So if there and then if this it runs succeeding this, then it goes to finally, and then that's it. If finally is not there, it just goes on. And if there's an error in try, then it's like, oh, okay, let's go to catch, and then it goes to catch and runs it, and then goes to finally, and then ends. If finally is not there, it just goes on. So that's basically that. If there's an error, it goes in this next. So we're not gonna need finally, we're just gonna need try and catch. So it's going to try and convert the max player and port into numbers, because remember the player can actually type in some random letters and that can't be converted into numbers, you know. So to do this, first we need to initialize the server. We can do this by using network.initialize server, and I'll show you what a cool thing after this. So to convert this, we need to do int dot pairs or whatever you say, and then port, and then oops, the port is supposed to go after it's the player that's supposed to go. So max player first, max players, and comma, and int dot pairs, and port, and comma, and then we can do network dot what have a public address. There we go. Oh, sorry, I forgot to put that at the end. Okay, now you I really don't know much about this. It's to do with the Usenet, and if uh, basically if the server is behind uh, what would you say? If the server is behind a router or something that blocks the clients from connecting to it, that's why we need this to fix that. But honestly, I have no idea why they even did this, because it does not work. Or maybe I'm just doing it wrong, because you know I'm still learning. I'm not like a master of everything. So anyways, you still need to port forward, just saying, if you want to create a server, but the clients don't need to port forward. So now, before we actually begin any further, there's also such thing as network.initialize security. That initializes obviously the security for the server. So the server, like if you've ever played Counter-Strike or something, then it checks the security, makes sure you're not hacking or anything, that sort of stuff. So, and then your server is basically created. So now if your server, if it fails to convert those, what it's going to do is it's going to say please type in number for port and player. Obviously the obviously this is only going to be printed in the editor. So let's see. Okay, put this in there and let's play this. So we should be able to create a server now. So z5 and max player 5, and as you can see, but let's give it an error first. As you can see, please type in a number. Now let's remove this error and create, and as you can see, it created a server, but you're like, what the hell, it didn't do anything. So let's pause this. And because you didn't see anything, because we didn't tell it to do anything. So let's see if this network dot peer type equals to network peer type dot disconnected. That means if it's disconnected, only then it's going to show the server. It's going to let us create a server. All these options are going to appear. Else, if it's connected, then it's going to say if, then it's going to display a disconnect button. So GUI Layout dot dot button and disconnect, and all we need to type in is network dot disconnect. I might actually make this into two parts because this will get long. Networking is really complicated. So, anyways, uh, now we need also for the clients to be able to connect, and we'll do that in a second actually. So let's try this first. So, uh, type in a random server name, we type in a max player and create server, and as you can see it created the server even though no one's actually connected or anything. Disconnect. Anyways, and now you're probably wondering that what is the server name for? We're not even using this anywhere. And the reason why I made this before is because you see people when people are going to try and connect to you, they're going to need a service like your IP or something to connect to you, and Unity provides this master server, they call it master server dot, and what you can do with this is you can master servers pretty much got a big array or a list of games that people made, and they are online. So okay, let me try and explain this another way. Basically what you can do is you can create a hyperlink in master server, Unity's master server, which redirects to the server. So for example, I can create a link in master server and which redirects to this thing, and then people can just click join, and then they're joined. So request host, oops, sorry, it's not request, that's something else. Anyways, register host, and we need to give it your game name, your actual game name, and then your server name. So server name is going to be server name, and your comment, and your comment is basically, if you don't want a comment, you don't need a comment. It can be basically like a map or something. Let's call this testing purpose 123. So no one actually tries to interfere with our game. It needs to be unique, so you don't actually accidentally join another person's game. Someone, like you're playing a FPS and you join a racing game that someone else made it because the names are the same. So anyways, now that's done. Now what we need to do is we need to um, get it so it uh, gets all the hyperlinks for your game, which is testing purpose 123 for us, and we need something that will display everything. Okay, to do this, first we should create, okay, let's create a window, and for a window obviously we need a uh, uh, rect or rectangle, whatever you call it, private rect, and window rect equals to new, no, yeah, equals to new, and we shall make it a 0 comma 0 comma 400 comma 400. I always forget a comma there for some reason. Okay, now let's create that window, and the window is obviously only going to be shown when it's disconnected. But since I want to show you that when you create a server it does appear there, then I'm not going to be making it so it doesn't, it shows you when we're connected as well. So if you want to make it when it's disconnected and connected, just type anything here because it's not in the if statement. Anything that if it's disconnected, you type anything that here, like we did. If it's connected, we type it here in this. So I want it for when it's disconnected and connected, we just type it outside. So we're going to be doing window rect equals to GUI.window, and we're going to need a unique ID for the window, and window rect obviously, window func for window function, and the content of the window, which is going to be servers or something, I don't know, and then copy window func because we're going to create a function. Window func, in my opinion, actually does not sound like a good name. I should be giving to my windows int ID, the ID of the window, so it needs to send that for it to work properly. So Anyways, now what we need to do is we need to create GUI Layout dot button. We should create a button so we can refresh the list. So F so fresh, and now we need to type in the refresh code inside it. So if you type in master server dot, we're going to get the host list, so request host list, and we need the game name, so it needs to be exactly the same. So I'm just going to copy and paste this, and we're good to go. Now we need to display stuff, and before we actually do this, I'm going to create a GUI layout dot begin horizontal. So anything create after this is going to be or anything I create inside these is the first thing will be on the top left, and the next thing will be on the right of the thing I just created. So it's gonna go like this. For example, if this is a button, this G, or this game object is a button, never mind. In fact, for example, if let me think. Okay, pretend this is a button, and then if I create another thing, it will be here, and then another thing will be, it will keep going like that instead of going down the way. So remember, anything you create, it goes down the way. But if you do this, then it goes left and right, left to right. So GUI layout dot box, and I'm going to be creating, I'm going to be telling it, what is it, server name, and that's pretty much it. So not that much. Remember, like I said, you can also put a comment like a map, so you can also do GUI dot map or something, box, and then map, put a map there. So I'll tell you how to do that as well. So anyways, if master server dot pool host list dot length, if I can, whoa, why isn't length is not equal to 0. Oops. Did I do something wrong here? Okay, let me try this again. Okay, I'm pretty sure it is this. Okay, hold on, let me just check, making sure. So, master server unit. Oh, I see. Sorry, it was actually that, but I forgot these dot length. Sorry about that. Anyways, now let's keep on going further. So now what we're going to do is we're going to be creating a host. Oops, host data, and we're going to be calling it data equals to master server dot pool host list. So it gets all the server created for testing purpose 1 2 3 game, and for each server in var c in data, or maybe we should do for each host data. Maybe that will work. No, yes, maybe. Okay, it does work. Anyways, what we're going to be doing is I think that's it. All you need to do now is GUI layout dot box c dot name game name for the game name. If GUI layout dot button connect, then network dot connect Here you would normally type in the person's IP and then comma and whatever uh, their port is, but you can just type in C and it'll connect to it right away. Or you can type in C.IP and then comma and then the port. Or if then you've got a password, the password I guess. So comma password, and if you the password's there. But since we're not going to be creating a password system, since we are doing this comment map system as well, so for a map, all you have to do is create another one of these and put a comma here, make the map name whatever you want, and in here to display it, all you need to do is just like a GUI box dot map ec dot comment. There we go. That's the thing for the map. Anyways, now this is going to be downwards, so we need to create a GUI layout. In fact, we'll just copy from there, a horizontal view, and we need to end this, and we're almost done. Now let's play this, and let's see. Hold on 1 second, and oops, hold on. I forgot one thing. At the end, I'm supposed to add GUI dot drag window, and just make a new rect from 0, 0, screen dot width, screen dot height. So we can drag it from 0, 0 to screen dot width to screen dot height. So hold on, and we click play, and now we should be able to drag it. We can create a server, Z75, create server, create for 65 players, and if you refresh, and as you can see there, there's the 505 and connect. And that is it for this tutorial. I hope you've enjoyed. I will be giving this script, or maybe there's another network script out there. You can just get that one from my channel. Just search it up in my channel. It should be there. So thanks for watching, and so yeah, I hope you enjoyed this. Next tutorial, we're going to be learning uh, RPC, sending and receiving variables and data to other network people that are connected. Anyways, see ya.